Hey, it's Rusty. Thanks for tuning in to Burning Cereal. Today what I have for you, a little something called Fathead dough. What's Fathead dough? It's a keto-friendly dough that you can use to make bagels, breadsticks, cinnamon rolls. Today we're going to make pizza dough because I love pizza, but doing this keto thing really can't have the bread. Now we can. Ingredients: mozzarella cheese, almond flour, baking powder, and an egg. Put this all together, and it's as easy as... All right, so the first step, measure out your ingredients. First ingredient that we're going to use is going to be our mozzarella cheese. Now, you want to measure this specifically. This is kind of critical because if you don't measure it out right, the dough is not going to come out correct. So we're going to do 10 ounces. I've got it on a scale. I've got my scale zeroed out. And I'm going to put in 10 ounces without having my bowl fall over. And that's 10. So we have 10 ounces of cheese. Next thing we want to do is 5 ounces of almond flour. So in this bowl, I have 5 ounces of almond flour, measured it out on my scale. So got the almond flour in this bowl. I've got my 10 ounces of mozzarella cheese in this bowl. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the flour aside. I'm going to take this mozzarella cheese and I'm going to go microwave it. You want to microwave it for no more than 30 seconds at a time. Okay, so we're going to microwave it for 30 seconds. We're going to stir it up. Probably going to have to hit it one more time at 30 seconds, so probably a maximum of 2 times. It's still going to have a little bit of a consistency of cheese in it, but you're going to mix it up. There's going to be a residual heat, and we're going to mix that up, and we'll be right back. All right, so while that's microwaving, I'm going to take this almond flour, add a teaspoon of baking powder to it. Just give it a quick mix. We're going to set this aside and go check on that mozzarella. All right, I wanted to show you this while it's still warm. This is what it's going to look like when it comes out. You can see it still looks like cheese, but if you mix it, residual heat will melt the rest of that cheese. And this is what you want it to look like. All right, so we're going to take that cheese, put it inside our mixer with a dough hook on it. Take our egg. Hopefully I can do this with no shells. No shells. And we are going to just stir this together on its lowest setting. And we're going to add the flour as it's mixing. Alright, so now that it's all mixed together, we're just going to knead this. Got a little bit of almond flour on the cutting board. You're just going to knead this like you would regular dough. You'll know when it's done because it'll start to get a little oily. And then once it gets kind of oily, I can see it getting there on the cutting board now. And you're just going to form it into a ball. And it should just look like a regular little old dough ball. And this will keep in the fridge for a couple of weeks if you don't want to make it right away. So right now I'm going to wrap this up in saran wrap and get one that I made earlier, and we're going to go forth with that one. Alright, so here's one that I made earlier. We're just going to take it out of its cling wrap. Put another piece of, we have parchment paper down on the cutting board. We're going to put another piece over top. You can do it with your hands, but you'd have to oil up your hands because this is kind of sticky. Then you're just going to roll this out to whatever kind of pan you're going to use. If you're going to put it on a pizza stone, roll it round. If you're going to put it inside of a pan like I am, roll it square. So once you have it all rolled out, take a peek at it. You might have to make some changes to it. As I was rolling mine out, I was checking it, and on thin spots I was moving some of the dough around. But now you just want to make sure that it's going to fit inside of your pan. So what you're going to want to do is transfer it to your pan. So in my case, just a old cookie sheet I'm going to slide in there, and it's a little high on the edges, as you can see, and I probably could move some of that dough. To this side. And just like you would with regular dough, you can just tie it in. Look, Mom, no gloves. Once you have it the way you like it, you're going to take a fork and you're going to dock it. And what docking means, you're just going to poke holes in it. And this is so that air has a place to escape. You want to do this over the whole thing. Now you want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees, and then we're going to slide this in for about 10 or 12 minutes at 400. While we're waiting for that, we'll prep the rest of our ingredients. So here it is, right out of the oven. We pre-baked it. This one took about 14 minutes. I pre-baked it. But what we're going to do now is go ahead and top it. What we like to use, this isn't a promotion or anything like that, it's just what we use. Rao's homemade. Reason for that, 4 grams of carbs, and 3 sugar. That's it. It's pretty keto friendly, and we like it. So we're gonna do what you always do. Little sauce on here. I'm not sponsored by these guys, it's just the way I'm holding the jar. But if you want to send me some sauce, I'd be more than happy to take it, because we really do like it. You can buy this at your local grocery store or on Amazon. Now, we're just making a margarita pizza, so we're just gonna throw some mozzarella cheese on there. Some basil. Now, depending on how much you like basil, you can put a lot, you can put a little. I know that my wife actually likes a lot of it. When we were in Italy, some places we found they put just a couple of leaves on. Some others, they put a ton. So now we're going to take this, we're going to put it back in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Keep an eye on it. You just want to make sure that everything's going to melt and taste great. And with that, we'll be right back. So in Mike's infinite wisdom, he said I should probably tell you how we're going to set the oven up. So remember the 400 degrees that we pre-baked it at? Because if I didn't tell you before, pre-bake at 400 degrees. We're going to leave it at 400 degrees. We're going to put this back in there. So again, 400 degrees, about 10 to 12 minutes. Ooh, that is steaming hot. Looks pretty tasty. I may have left it in maybe a minute too long, but it still looks pretty freaking good. I don't know if you can see that, but there she is. We're going to let this cool off just a little bit, and then we'll give it a taste. We'll be right back. All right, here's our margarita pizza. Cooled down quite a bit out of the oven. Let's give this dough a little taste. So it's a little flimsy. I cut it in squares because I read a lot of stuff about if you cut it in a triangle, it'll just fold. So I cut it in squares. It's pretty good. Nice crust on the bottom. It tastes good. I mean, if you're not eating bread and you're going to use this as a substitute, it's really good. I've had bagels made out of this. They're tasty. But this is pizza dough. Holy crap. We can start eating pizza again. You should try this. It's really good. All the ingredients and the description of how we made this are going to be in the description box below. Make sure you watch, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.